Hello, we're here at the Twin Cities Film Fest on October 20th, Sunday evening, and we are on the Renters Warehouse red carpet, and I am with J.R. Hughto, who is the director of Diamond on Vinyl. Tell me how that title became in fruition.
Well, I was looking for what do you call it? I was looking for something that would relate to both, the plots of, the record collecting, but also the marriage, and of course, a lot of classic and high-end record players have diamond needles. And of course, they used to be made on vinyl, the records themselves. So I liked that there was this idea of the kind of double meaning between the needle and the wedding ring.
Interesting, that's great. Now, this recorder does a lot of damage to the people, correct? Yes, I read once that it says similar to a gun. Now tell me that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of noir elements in the film, and there's a lot of flexibility in between the characters. Some of whom, they play the PI. They're the ones that are investigating, and then later on it kind of switches, and maybe they're the ones that are kind of the femme fatale or the villain. And so but of course there isn't any gunplay in the film. But the recorder is the thing that's gathering the evidence, and the way that kind of moves between the characters, it sort of became both the thing that they're trying to use to make themselves happy, but also it's the dangerous device. So similar to a gun, I suppose.
Yeah. Now, I know that you as a director like to get actors to be more authentic and organic. Tell me the process of getting the actors to that point.
It was really great. After casting, what we did was, we didn't actually rehearse any of the dialogue, that's in the script. It's pretty tightly scripted film, but it was very important to me to have this kind of feeling of improv and freedom. And so what we did was, I got together one-on-one with all the actors in advance, and then, we talked very thoroughly about who the people were, the characters, what their backstory was, what their relationships were. I had them pair off in the important relationships, and we actually improv scenes that didn't exist, that weren't scripted, and I got them very comfortable, with improv with each other, what their relationships were, things that didn't exist, to give them a sense of history. And then when we showed up on set, not having run any of the lines could remain fresh, and I allowed them, to, basically the performance of the dialogue became the improvisation rather than improvising around the dialogue. Of course, there are some moments of great improv, and I think it's grounded in the fact that we did so much character work in advance that gave them, a real strong feeling of who these people were, what their motivations are, and so that when we went off book, it was very grounded in who these characters were, and that went for all the characters in the film. So.
As a director on set, did you interact with them a lot, like give them feedback as they were performing or after, or did you just kind of let them be and?
Different things for different actors. I tried my best to find ways that work best for that individual, and sometimes, when it's the two actors working closely, try to figure out what that energy was and respond to that. So sometimes it was very interactive between us, and other times I try to pick my spots and give just, the one note, or something like that. But the other thing that was positive is because there's so much rehearsal as part of the plot of the film, and that they're working out these dialogues with each other, they also were comfortable knowing that there wasn't such a thing as a bad take. All of it was raw material that we could use, and so it kind of naturally freed things up where, we would talk to each other about how things were going, what we thought, whether or not what kind of changes we wanted to make, and so that in that way, there was a lot of improvisation, just not what we traditionally think of as being improvisation. Yeah.
That's a fascinating way to hear like a different take on improvisation and making the lines fresh on set instead of rehearsed. As an actor, I can totally understand that and would be helpful in order to make them more organic as a character. Now, how did you become a director? Have you always wanted to be a director, or was there a pivotal moment that you're like, haha, I'm going to be a director?
I mean, I guess I think of myself as a filmmaker first. I mean, I came from a documentary background, more experimental background. And of course, I wanted to be a storyteller in fiction. And so it wasn't so much a moment of wanting to be a director, but a moment of, I want to tell fictional stories now, and do kind of more experimental narrative ideas and this kind of recursion and these kinds of things. So yeah, I don't know. It's something I don't really. Again, I guess I just think of myself as a filmmaker first, not a director, I guess.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it, and we're excited to see your film and to see how the audience responds to your film. And thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks again to the professional landlords at Renters Warehouse.